Hello and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we'll be summarizing World War II, Part 2. If you haven't watched Part 1, I advise you to watch Part 1 first. There will be a link in the description and a card on the top of the screen right now. Then after watching that video, you can watch this video again so you will not be confused with the events. Anyways, let's start. It's mid-1939. And Germany is remembering Poland, more specifically, the Polish corridor that splits them in two. However, Germany also wanted to invade the Soviets. Problem was that the Allies warned him an invasion of the East would mean war. So since Germany didn't want to fight a major war in two sides, in 1939, Hitler asked Stalin,
"Want to split Poland between the two of us?"
Yeah, okay. Wait a minute. We lost Polish territory because of your country.
We've changed.
Alright, fine.
In September of 1939, the Soviets and the Germans invaded Poland. The Allies finally declared war on Germany, marking the start of World War II. Though the Polish fought hard and had a pretty strong army, they had no chance against the two Titan countries crushing them from both sides. Then the phony war came, where they didn't really do much other than France sending a small invasion into Germany's Saarland. Instead of attacking when they arrived there, they were just maintaining defensive positions, and after just a week, they decided to leave. The UK was also pretty bad at handling the situation too, as they, mostly Chamberlain, wanted to end it diplomatically and not in a way where millions of civilians would die. And Chamberlain also stopped the RAF from bombing German cities. The Allies then turned north, where they realized that Sweden was exporting iron ore to Germany via Norway. So they asked them to stop exporting the iron ore, but they refused. So the Allies destroyed some transport ships and vehicles carrying iron ore through Norway. Hitler quickly realized this, and to secure his supply of iron ore, he invaded Norway from the south. The Allies went to northern Norway to fend the Germans off, but the Germans had already taken control of Norway's most powerful airfields, so the Allies failed. After this, Chamberlain resigned, and he was succeeded by Winston Churchill, one of his colleagues. Then Hitler invaded Belgium with all of his best forces, while the Allies went from the south. However, at this time, Germany got lucky and was able to trap the Allied forces from all sides. Wiping out all of France's best armies, they almost destroyed the British too. But fortunately, they got off of mainland Europe just in the nick of time. With France losing millions of troops and their best forces, Germany easily went past Paris, and France fell. Around the same time, Italy declared war on the Allies. Germany also didn't take all of France, but instead left southeast France to be a German puppet state. Fortunately for the British, Commonwealth nations, most notably Australia and Canada, supported the British throughout the whole war. Churchill ordered multiple bombing raids over Berlin, and Hitler responded with the same thing, instead on RAF bases. Around the country, children were sent to the coast, far away from their parents, where they would be safe. Hitler then changed his plans and started ordering his army to bomb London, but that allowed RAF bases to recover and fight off the Germans. Later, Equatorial Africa, who at this time was part of Germany, got rid of their German troops and pledged their allegiance to a government-in-exile country, Free France, who joined the Allies. Gabon was also taken by Free France, however by military force. Mussolini then invaded British Somaliland, and that went with no bad incidents for him. He wasn't that lucky with Egypt, though, and was even worse when he invaded Greece. Hungary and Romania later joined the Axis nations. In 1941, FDR, who at this point was at his third term as American president, started supplying the Allies with food, munition, and overall supplies. Though some ships were sunken by the Germans, the Americans later came up with better ways and tactics to keep the ships safe. In Africa, Italy was easily pushed back by the British, while in Europe, Germany decided to launch an attack on Greece while having to first invade Bulgaria and Yugoslavia. British moved up some forces north to defend Greece, causing the Axis to push the British back to Egypt quite easily. However, they couldn't invade Egypt, as a small Australian force was disturbing their supply line. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, the British had lots of success. While in Europe, Hitler launched the biggest ground invasion in history against the Soviets, with over 3 million troops. The Soviets stood no chance and lost to Germany by their encircling movements that looked like this. Fortunately for the Soviets, it quickly became winter, and many of Hitler's forces froze. The Soviet troops were obviously used to the cold, and so they used it to their advantage. And now the Soviets had pushed the Germans back a significant distance. Back in Asia, Japan wanted to invade Southeast Asia, but there was a problem. Southeast Asia was heavily colonized by mostly the UK, the US, and some by the Dutch. Japan knew that there were no chance against the three countries, and so they decided to blow up their navy base in Pearl Harbor. It would take some time for the Americans and British to recover, so Japan took advantage of this. The Americans had no choice, and so Roosevelt was like,
"You blow up our base, we blow up your face. I declare war on the Japanese Empire."
Churchill did the same thing too. Meanwhile, Japan started their conquest. They took Guam, the Gilbert Islands. They forced Thailand to join them so they could march to Malaysia. They also swept through Borneo, the East Indies, Burma, New Guinea, and the Solomon Islands. They were also bombing North Australia and East India. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.